This video is made possible thanks to my patrons, especially Wes, Clownfish of Sin, Cantariop, and John Manda. Thank you all very much. Web fishing might be one of the most charming little games I've seen in years. It's a game where you just sit down and fish. Web fishing has an insane level of serenity that goes unmatched within this industry, and to a much further extent this genre of games as a whole. This is a little creature collecting game. Now, to start off, this game is meant to be played with friends. You know, that's kind of what the whole web part of the name means. Unfortunately for me, I have no friends, so we're going at it alone. The best way to describe this game is by comparing it to the fishing portions of the game from the Animal Crossing series, just a little bit more engaging. The core mechanics of fishing are relatively the same. You find a little spot where the fish is, you cast your rod and wait. Once the fish has taken the bait, you're directed to hold down the left mouse button, and then mash. Absolutely not the best thing for someone with hand strain, but it's fun nonetheless. I do have to mention it's pretty brutal with how much you have to mash. It gets really intense, which, oddly enough, ends up being a really nice contrast to the rest of the game. My first fish was an eel though, so f*** this game or something. After each catch, you're awarded experience points, genuinely a really nice way to keep track of things and acts as an incentive to keep on playing. The more you catch, the better name tag you unlock later on. I'll go a little bit more in depth on tags later, but I think it's a pretty cool system. No little Critterpedia, sadly. I was hoping for a way to look at all the different things I've collected, but as far as I found, there's no way to. Okay, so editing Izzy here. There is actually a Critterpedia that you can view. It's in the backpack. I just didn't know that until the video was completely finished. I went back and added this, so, hi, I guess. Not... The closest thing is this little aquarium, but you have to sacrifice selling your fish for that, and you have to do it manually, but I guess I'm just really lazy. There are little quests for you to do as well, which allow you to get some cash, which you can exchange for little buffs from a vending machine, more bait licenses, allowing for better bait to be used, and therefore net you better fish, rod upgrades, and little bits of customization. Having buffs like increased luck, increased speed, and beer are a great way to spice up the experience. There are also purchasable camp upgrades which allow you to progress further, but as far as I know the game is just a little endless sandbox, so there's no goal in mind when upgrading. The customization too. The options might not be necessarily too varied, primarily just being t-shirts and pants of a different colour, but there are indeed some incredibly cool stuff like the gay name tag. Yep, okay, that's mine, thank you. Tags are nothing too special, just simply being little cosmetics for online multiplayer portion of the game. I just find it really funny how it's displayed. Seeing a piece of text under my character's name that just says my sexuality is really funny, almost like that's my sole character trait or something. To continue my part about gameplay, this game has a really limited moveset that's really fun to play with. Obviously you have the basic jump and sprint, but there's also a really silly dive, which I think is kind of hard to get up from. It's a little unresponsive, leading to me getting stuck sometimes. Other than that, the game is charming and pretty unique. There are, sadly, quite a few bugs I noticed. This really weird one where when I'd close the backpack, for some reason it stayed on screen just slightly transparent. And this bug where if you go into the free camera mode, you just seem to not be able to leave it. The hotkey and button just refuse to work. I'm sure it'll get patched though. Whilst patching a game later on isn't really an excuse for releasing a game with bugs in it, every game is going to have that at launch, and the devs seem to be putting in some effort to make the game as good as it can be. The game is currently less than a week old at the time of writing, and probably like 2 weeks old by the time this video is out, so stuff will probably be a bit better than I hope. This game has a really, and I do mean really, charming visual style. It goes for this N64/early PS1 style for its models and textures, yet still allows for the game to be incredibly expressive. It's insanely impressive how good of a balance this is. It's really nice to see the style come back in games of recent. First it was the NES style of games, then the SNES style, and now it seems to be the N64 and PlayStation style of games. It's nice because back when a lot of the NES style of games such as Shovel Knight were releasing, no one would have been caught dead trying to replicate this style. Anyways, the skull here too, whilst small, is pretty nice. It's seldom used as well. Most of the game is being filled with a lot of relaxing sound effects and the sorts. But yeah, overall, game is good. I hope to see Paw Print Point in the next Super Smash Bros. Game.